morning.
Recording in progress.
All
Good
right,
morning.
we are starting our morning with Karen Evans, our president.
Thank you, Erica. My name is Karen Evans. I'm president of Congregation Beth Shalom. I want to welcome you to our 2021 Open House. So whether you are an existing member, a new member, or someone in the community interested to learn more about CBS, you will thoroughly enjoy this open house event. Can you hear me? Okay. Good. Though we originally planned to have this event in person, we're bringing the same exciting information to you virtually. You'll be meeting our rabbis, Rabbi David Weitzman and Rabbi Danielle Uppin, members of our CBS board, and other involved congregants. And we hope this will inspire you to get involved or more involved with the CBS community. You will hear about our wide range of fabulous services and programs. Not only do we offer programming for our congregants, we also continuously help out our larger community in Pinellas County in the Tampa Bay area. One example is our participation in Reverse Tashlich, also called Repair the Sea, where our volunteers help to remove debris in a collaborative waterfront cleanup. And that's actually scheduled for Sunday, September 12th. And if you want to join us to participate in that, just call the CBS office. We also enjoy a special celebration. It's our annual signature event, the spectacular Purim Gala in the spring. And this year we're going to be honoring Wendy and Blake Lynette. We're going to be distributing packets of the information about our programs and services. For prospective members that may be viewing, please contact the CBS office for that information. And for those members, you'll be receiving those in a couple of weeks. Finally, I want to thank all of you that have made today's program possible. We do wonderful things together. Come join this vibrant community, and we have a lot to offer today at this open house. I know that you're going to enjoy it. Thank you. And I'm now going to turn it over to Matt Rosen.
Hi, good morning. I'm Matt Rosen, and I'm proud to be the administrator here at Congregation Beth Shalom. And I'd like to echo Karen's greetings and also her thanks to everyone who has put this on. And it's been an incredible effort. And Erica, I know you're up in my left box. You're doing great. Okay, so I can see you up there. And so just a little bit about me for the people who I haven't met. I'm born and raised in Cincinnati, Ohio. I have 3 kids. I've been here about 10 or 11 years. And before I was here, I think my career had 3 different pieces. One was governmental, highlighted by working on Capitol Hill, going to Jimmy Carter's inauguration, which was kind of very, very special time looking back. Spent about 20 years with Japanese companies, including Mitsubishi and Fujitech, more or less being the person who could link between the Japanese executives and the more rural factory workers. And for the past 10 or 12 years, I've been here in Florida, and I've been in the not-for-profit sector, largely with Lutheran Services Florida, and now here at CBS. So with CBS, what I have to say is I'm blessed to have an incredible staff, incredible people to work with. The volunteers come in every week and light me up. They make me feel great every single week. Great volunteers, and of course the congregants. And best part of my job is talk to my boss, Karen, of course, but also interacting with the congregants, which I absolutely love. So let's get on with the open house, and thank you very much for letting me talk to you.
Thank you both so much. So next up to bat is Rabbi Weitzman, who's going to just give us a few moments of a welcome.
Good morning, everybody. I'd just like to share something that we actually recite every morning as part of our daily Torah study. It's a passage from the Gemara, and it really typifies what we do in life, Jewish life here at CBS, at Congregation Beth Shalom. There are certain things that we center our life around, certain kinds of mitzvot. Elu devrim she'adam ochel perotem b'olam hazeh. There are certain things that you get reward from doing in this world, like Karen kayemet lo li'olam haba. And there's some other reward that we don't really know about. Maybe it's going to come in the world to come. What are they? Elu hein. Kibod av v'em, honoring your parents. U'gimul chasadim, acts of loving kindness. The hashkama to Beit HaMikdash Shachrit B'Arevit, being punctilious and on time for all of your appointments, especially for the Beit Midrash. Hachnasat orchim, inviting in guests, being welcoming. Vikur cholim, visiting the sick. Hachnasat kala, preparing the bride for her wedding day. Halvayat hamet, caring for the dead and accompanying them to their final resting place. V'iyun tefillah, studying prayer, v'havat shalom ben adam l'chavero, making peace between neighbors, the Talmud Torah keneged kulam, and the study of Torah, the Gemara says, is equal, if you put them on their balance, to all of the others. And so it is that here we have a great program, not only of adult education, but all kinds of activities, ways to join into the congregation. And all of those other mitzvot that we mentioned there in the Gemara are things that our congregation does too. We're inviting everyone to join in all of the kinds of things that we do. It's the way that we make a community and we stay together. And we've seen in the past year or so, even in these trying times, that by everybody joining into those mitzvot, we've been able to stay together. A great thanks to everyone for their participation. May we go into this new year with strength and with dedication to all of those commandments that keep us one community.
Thank you, Rabbi David. All right, well, next we have a very special presentation that we wanted everybody to be a part of in person, but unfortunately we can't be together in person. But maybe there's a benefit because Angela is here with us this morning to just spend a few moments talking to us from the Pinellas Beekeepers Association. And I'm sure her bees don't sting, but being on Zoom definitely prevents anybody from getting any kind of sting from Angela's bees. So Angela, thank you so much for being with us this morning and sharing with us some great information about bees and honey. And we hope to be able to spend more time with you maybe this fall with our younger families and kiddos. So welcome.
Yes, well, thank you for having me this morning. I'd like to say that my bees don't sting, but I'm living proof that they do. Actually, just last week, I was working with my bees and I got a little careless and I took my veil off a little too soon and I got stung right here in the face. And all I could think was, I have to be on Zoom, up close and personal with complete strangers. I do not want to have swollen and everything. So I'm so glad that all that Benadryl I took kicked in because it was a little much. So they do sting on occasion, although I do have to say, for the most part, bees generally don't sting. Just sting. They're pretty gentle. They only sting under kind of if they get nervous or extreme situations. So for the most part, I don't get stung very often, but I am so happy to be here this morning. And I thought that in just the few minutes time that I had with you, I would talk to you about how bees make honey, because I know that honey is an important part of the celebrations that you have there when you talk about Rosh Hashanah or some of the different things that you do. So I thought it would be fun to talk about how we get our honey, because everybody thinks of honey when they get bees or when they hear bees, but they don't necessarily know how it's made. So when I do presentations with students and children, I always talk about the fact that honey is actually bee vomit, and kids love that. They think that that's the funnest thing in the world. So every time you pour some honey over your cereal in the morning, you're actually partaking in bee vomit. But bees are the only insects that produce any food item for humans to eat. So they're unique in that aspect. They're also unique because bees are one of the most intricate creatures that we have and that can study. They're fascinating. The more you learn about bees, the more things you're just amazed by the design in bees. So let's talk about how bees make honey. We know that bees fly out and they collect nectar and they collect pollen and they bring that back to their hive. Well, when bees collect nectar, they bring it back and they have a very long tongue called a proboscis. Their long tongue is used kind of like a straw. So they suck up the nectar. And when that bee gets her fill of nectar, she brings it back and she will then spit it into a house bee, is what we kind of call them, a house bee's mouth. So she'll fill up the house bee and the house bee will keep it in her mouth until she's got it full of her. And so they'll pass it bee to bee to bee. And then finally, the last bee, who is in charge of processing, for lack of a better phrasing, so they'll process that nectar. They'll fill one of the little cells inside the beehive and then they'll fan it. And so what they do is they take the nectar and they'll cover it with a layer of bees. They actually will sit on top of the cells and they fan their wings and they reduce the moisture content in the nectar until it gets to be about 18% liquid. Once it reaches that magic point of 18%, the bees will realize that it has converted from nectar into honey, and they'll put a thin layer of wax over the top of it. Almost looks like tissue paper. It's so very thin. And we call that capped honey. And at that point, it has been transformed into honey that you and I could eat. From there, the bees will use that. They store it up for winter. They store it up for times when there's not a lot of nectar available. So bees actually do eat their own honey. And so then once a beekeeper notices that they have a full box essentially of honey, that's when you can harvest it. And we have these special tools that go in and we take that top layer of wax off. We spin, it's like a centrifuge. We spin out the honey and then we put those wax combs right back in there and the bees will refill them. And that process goes on over and over again. But that's how we get our honey. And then that honey is put into bottles like this that you would buy at your grocery store or at your local farmer's market. Why is it important to buy from local beekeepers? Perhaps you've heard that if you use local honey, first of all, there's all sorts of economic benefits. You're supporting your local community. You're helping people in your area support their family and things. But also it's really great nutritionally because if you have allergies, there's been a lot of studies that show that using honey from your area, because it's collected from pollen and nectar of the plants that are in your area, it helps you to build an immunity to allergies. And so a lot of people find relief from that. So if you have allergies of any kind, it was really a great idea to find a local beekeeper who harvests honey in your area and use their honey. And plus it's just delicious. It tastes so much different. Even honey from the same hive will taste different throughout the year because of the types of flowers that they're collecting their honey from or their nectar from. And so the honey will taste different from the same group of bees every time. Well, I thought it would be fun also if you got to see a few of my friends up close and personal. So I brought some with me over here to my little table. Let's see if I can get them close enough so that you can see them. The students love it. And I'm actually coming out to your school, I think, in a couple of weeks to talk to the kids there. But the kids love it when I bring the bees because you get to see them in a non-threatening way. But you can see that they're busy this morning. And they are working on their cells. So a few things of note. It might be a little bit hard to see in here, but the little cells, they're the tiny little hexagon cells that you can see the bees walking all over there. Those are made by the bees. They're to exact specifications and the bees inherently know how to make that. They create the wax, they produce their own wax. They have special little parts on their abdomen that secrete the little tiny bits of wax that they use to form those cells. Those cells then will perfectly align with their abdomen and they can lay on top of them to heat them when they have baby eggs and larvae, they will heat those cells up. They also use their abdomens to lock in the nectar while they're warming it up. So you can see that there's a lot going on inside this little frame of bees. There are predominantly only women in the beehive. They're the majority of bees that you'll ever come in contact with in a beehive are females, except for the drones. Those are the males, and there were some in there, but I don't know that you'll be able to really differentiate them on camera. But we do have some drones that are in here, and they are useful only for mating with the queen. And once their use is done, the bees basically toss them out, and they stop feeding them. And their usefulness to the beehive is over. They don't produce any food. They don't go collect nectar. They really only exist to mate with the queen, which is fascinating to think about the hierarchy that happens inside that beehive there. But so there is a definite hierarchy. Everyone knows the queen bee, she rules the place. The bees will follow her pheromones everywhere she goes. So if she leaves the hive, bees are going to go with her. And that's why a lot of times you'll encounter a swarm. And so a swarm of bees is basically when the queen decided there wasn't enough room in her hive and she needed to relocate to a bigger accommodation. So she'll take some bees with her and go in search of a larger condo. And so she'll go swarm and take them with her. And that's how you can get new colonies, and you'll see new colonies grow from there. But just back to some more interesting things about honey. A honeybee will produce about 1/12 of a teaspoon of honey in its entire life. So when you pour out those tablespoons and half a cupful of honey over the top of your peanut butter and honey toast, which is one of my favorites, yeah, that's about 50 bees worth of lifetime work. And so that they live approximately 6 weeks. That's the average bee lifespan. The queen will live a couple of years, and the drones live it's kind of an average between 4 to 6 weeks, just depending on the season of the year. Sometimes they live a little bit longer. Depends on how long the bees really want to put up with them, honestly. But so the queen will live the longest. Like I said, she lives a couple of years. She lays about 2,500 eggs a day. So she's busy. When you hear the idea of being busy as a bee, she puts it to work. And so 2,500 eggs a day, that's why a beehive can hold somewhere between 20 to 30,000 bees in it. Every time you see a box of bees in someone's yard, that's about the estimate of what's going on inside there. So there's so much information in bees and in beekeeping. It is a fascinating thing. And like I said, the longer I'm a beekeeper, the more I learn, and the more I just realize we don't know very much at all about what goes on inside a beehive, in spite of how much we study them and learn about them. But it is just so neat to study the dynamics and how that works and the processes that they go through. It is so structured and ordered. And as a congregation of faith, I know that I can say to you that we can look at it and say, wow, does that not point to a creator? I don't know if there's much besides bees that can point to a creator as well as they do, because they are just fascinating creatures. So thank you so much for letting me come on and share with you. I geek out on it. I can talk for hours and hours. So, but I hope that gives you just a taste of some things about bees. And if you are interested at all, the Pinellas Beekeepers Association, you are welcome to attend our meetings. We meet via Zoom as well, but you can find us on the internet and join us on Zoom for meetings. Come out and see what we have. We have training days where you can come out to our beehives and we'll suit you up and open a beehive and let you get a firsthand experience checking out the bees and what's going on there.
Angela, thank you so very much for helping bring this to life. Unfortunately, we can't taste the honey today, although we had intended to do that,
yes,
being together in a space. But if you are able to, you're welcome in the chat, Angela, to put a link to the Pinellas Beekeeper Association. I know that people can purchase honey as well. So hopefully once they get there, they can learn lots of information about interacting with the association.
Yeah, I'll put it in there. Thank you so much for having me this morning.
You are welcome. All right. Well, before we head on into more great programming opportunities, I want to open up the breakout rooms because it's time for our kiddos to go spend some time with Miss Sarah. They've missed being with Miss Sarah, so we're so happy that she's here with us today. I'm going to open up the breakout room in just a minute. The kids should know exactly what to do. Adults, don't do anything. Just stay with us because we're not going anywhere. And Miss Sarah is going to do some music, play some games, show some videos, maybe read a story, lots of fun things for about 30 minutes or so. All right, I'm gonna open up the breakout rooms. So Miss Sarah and kiddos, you will go into the youth program breakout room. Everybody else, you don't have to do anything. Just hang here for just a second. We'll let them wander in. I will help anybody who needs help getting into the breakout room. So let's just give them a minute to get where they need to go. Hang tight, everybody. I'm just helping them get to where they need to go. One more second. Okay, let's get Miss Sarah where she needs to go. Sometimes those breakout rooms don't work as smoothly as possible. So, all right, if anyone else needs help, just message me in the chat and I will get you to where you need to go. But without further ado, I'm going to put a spotlight on David Sadowski so that he can talk to us for a few minutes about brotherhood.
So am I unmuted here? Okay, good. So yes, so my name is David Sadowski. I'm the Vice President of Programming for CBS Brotherhood. Also a 32-year member of Congregation Beth Shalom, and I've loved every moment of this. And so yes, CBS Brotherhood, we're the Shul's men's service organization. And our goal is to bring camaraderie and community amongst our members. And we do that in a variety of different ways. You know, being the service organization of one of the service organizations of the Shul, we hope to assist the Shul in its activities. And some of the ways we do that is we put up and take down the sukkah. You know, we provide food at the Lag BaOmer celebration. Usually it's a cookout. We've made latkes for Hanukkah every year, and we also participate in the variety of activities at the Shul, such as mitzvah days. So that's one of our goals. One of our other goals that we have is fundraising. You know, we hope to give funds to the various arms of the Shul, and so we've done that through putting on the highly successful deli night for the past 7 or 8 years. We turned this social hall into a busy deli, and we serve a variety of foods, and it's been a fun time. Last year we couldn't do that because of COVID, and probably not this year either. But we had a pickup, and that was highly successful. And we've taken that money that we've raised through different activities of the CBS Brotherhood, and we've donated to certain things such as the Technology Fund, the USY, the Gala, and other things at the synagogue. So that's so we do, we assist the Shul in doing certain things, we fundraise, but one of the biggest things we do is, of course, programming. And so we do a variety of programming. One of the things we do is religious activities. We have a weekly Torah study. It's headed by Rabbi Weissman and Jay Palmer, and we go over the Parsha. We've been using a book that gives background of the Parsha, and it's been really fun. We usually have about a dozen men participating, and it's been a lot of fun. We also lead the services for Brotherhood Shabbat. Usually it's in February. And so each of our members take certain parts. You can learn how to read Torah. You can learn how to do certain prayers, whatever you want to do, pick up, raise the Torah, the whole bit. So it's a lot of fun. And also we have the Worldwide Wrap, where we teach everyone how to put on tefillin. So if you're into religious activities, we have programming in that area. But we also, being men, we have programming in the sports realm. We've gone to a Threshers game. We gather for a Threshers game. That's the minor league baseball team whose stadium is just north of Drew Street in Clearwater. We've also organized a outing at the Tampa Bay Lightning game. Usually that's in December. We've gone to the Tankles recently on a yearly basis for a Super Bowl gathering to watch the Super Bowl and of course to eat. And we brought in a variety of speakers on sports topics such as the Rays. I think we're trying to have a speaker coming in October on the Israeli baseball team in its participation in the Olympics. So that should be an interesting topic. Hopefully we can pull it off, and more to come on that. If you're into food and drink, we do a variety of things. We have a program called Choco, where we have someone who comes in and leads us and helps us to prepare a meal based upon a different theme or a country. We prepare the meal, and then we have drinks and eat the drinks that go along with the theme, and also eat the meal. So that's a lot of fun. And hopefully we can have that once COVID is over. On a weekly basis, the CBS Brotherhood sponsors the L'chaim Bar at the Shabbat services. I don't know if you noticed, but we have a little bar there, and we stock it, and everyone's welcome to come over and have a drink for Shabbat and just to be together. We have a program called Suds in the Sukkah. After we put up the sukkah, we gather in the sukkah, and we bring in usually beer and pizza, and enjoy a meal in the sukkah. And we've done other things with food and drinks, such as we've toured different breweries. We hope to go to Spencer Wolf's distillery once COVID is over. And we've also gotten together with other other brotherhoods and the other conservative synagogues in the area to gathering at different breweries. So we do a variety of things in the food and drink area. Sometimes we even do cultural events, put on cultural events. In June, we toured the Antique Car Museum, which has a collection of our own CBS members, Marvin and Linda Feldman. That was a lot of fun. And we sometimes have Eric Steckler and others update us on Israel. So we try to have a variety of activities and in different areas. CBS Brotherhood is part of the bigger conservative men's club movement. There's the Florida Jewish Men's Club, in which we're actually fairly active. And one of our members, Blake Lynette, is actually the president of the organization. So we're really proud of him. And we're part of the national movement, and we send people to the national convention. So I mean, we hope that we do a lot of different things in a lot of different areas. Our dues are only $37 a year. We've kept it that for I think 20 years. We're always looking for new members and participation. And if one is interested in joining us, you can call me at 727-725-4889. That's David Sadowski, 727-725-4889. And we would love to speak with you and have you join us. Thank you.
Thank you, David, very, very much. What amazing information. And you all should have received the program booklet that has the information like I shared on the screen. It'll be available on our website as well. But please feel free to reach out to David, to Frank, to any of the men who are involved, Jeff Brown, I'm gonna forget everybody now. So all these great people who can give you lots of information about our Brotherhood and Men's Club. And it's just natural then to talk about our amazing women. So let's go to Wendy Lynette to talk a bit about sisterhood.
Hi, everybody. I see that my little box says Matt Rosen, so you probably have surmised I'm at Matt's computer. I'm Wendy Lynette, and I'm happy to be here to talk to you about CBS Sisterhood, or as I like to call them, 140 of my best friends. When I came to CBS many years ago, okay, it was over a quarter of a century ago, but who's counting? The first thing I did was join Sisterhood. There, I found a welcoming, uplifting group of individuals. What impressed me most about Sisterhood was the diversity of women, and not because we were unique, but because even with our varied backgrounds, ages, lifestyles, inside, we were all the same. We want what's best for CBS and for our community, and we love the camaraderie and friendships we make along the way. Programs like painting and yoga help build friendships, and fundraisers like New Year's and Purim greetings, which includes the fun we have rolling, stuffing, pinching, and baking hamantaschen, enable Sisterhood to make substantial donations to CBS, which does everything from keeping the lights on, helping to keep the lights on, to providing scholarships for our youth. True, Sisterhood has offered great programming over the years, but during the pandemic, we showed amazing creativity by hosting Zoom meetings, drive-bys, and outdoor programs. These socially distanced programs helped us build and keep up our connections through the past 18 months. Information on our upcoming programs will be coming out soon, and you'll find a wide variety of topics and activities. Sisterhood always puts an interesting spin on each event. Information also will be coming out on how you can help support the Jewish Theological Seminary through Women's League and Torah Fund, just one of the many charities that we support. As we move forward into the new year, I look forward to seeing you all on Zoom or in person. From fundraisers to friend-raisers, we'll work together, we'll have fun together, and most of the time we'll do both at the same time, work and have fun. Join Sisterhood and meet 140 of your newest best friends. Thank you.
Thank you, Wendy. Sorry, I was having some issues with my share screen, so I wasn't able to put that program booklet on the screen. But again, you'll have full access to seeing all of the upcoming programs. And now it's my turn in the program. So I want to introduce myself. I'm Erica Harubi. I am the Youth and Education Director at Congregation Beth Shalom. I have now spent just over a year with the community, and I'm so happy with everything that we've accomplished. Interestingly, I'm one of those people who only got to know CBS once COVID began. So I didn't see everything in action. I had never been into the religious school where the classrooms were humming and buzzing with learning. But it's okay because we were able to create an incredible opportunity last year through Zoom, starting the year off with High Holidays on Zoom and High Holiday youth programming, youth group events, and religious school as well. So this year, we will be moving forward, of course, with religious school. We'll have multiple options. We'll have both an online option and an in-person option. Our curriculum is Jewish values based. We start our morning with tefillah together, so our kids can not only pray together and create community together, led by Rabbi Danielle, but we are also able to practice the prayers and practice what we're learning in our Hebrew time with our private Hebrew tutors. So all of our kids during the week come together on Sunday mornings to learn together. They continue learning Hebrew together with a private tutor one-on-one. So we really give them the best opportunity to learn Hebrew and language acquisition in a way that suits them. We have wonderful youth group programming that will sometimes be in person and sometimes be online, where our kids can really interact with one another through scavenger hunts or different games. Last year we had an online scavenger hunt with the Museum of Natural History. It was a ton of fun. Our kids got to interact with one another and also run around the hallways of the Museum of Natural History. We have youth education and programming for our youngest kids, our pre-K, our preschoolers, and we also go up to Hebrew High programming with our teens, bringing our teens to learn together, to stay connected with one another post B'nai Mitzvah, as they're able to really connect with current issues. We talk about Israel, we talk about social justice, lots of issues that our kids are really concerned and interested in, and how we view those through a Jewish lens. So thank you so much for all of the support. I know all of our clubs, committees, fundraising, our lay leaders, our staff all support the incredible work that we do with our kids. We're a little community, but it doesn't mean that we do a little. We do a lot with everything that we have to offer, and love to see how that plays out and how our kids continue to grow from those experiences. So thank you so much for letting me share a bit about our religious school and youth programming. And now we need to see if Steve Beckerman is on deck.
I'm here.
You're here. Awesome. Okay, beautiful. We're going to spotlight you so that everybody can see you and hear your amazing shofar blowing skills. And you'll talk to us a little bit about the shofar as well. So without further ado, you've got the floor.
Thanks, Eric. Good morning, everyone. Yeah, so let's start with the last part. Let's just talk a little bit about the shofar, and then we'll get to the different types of notes, and I'll do a little demonstration at the end for a couple of different shofar that I have. As most of you know, Rosh Hashanah is Yom Teruah. So it's the blowing of the shofar, and that's really the commandment. So the commandment for Jews is to blow the shofar. That's our one and only obligation. And so our mitzvah, though, is not to necessarily just have to blow it. It's really to hear it. So what I'll do during services in a few weeks is blow the shofar, and so that all of us can share the mitzvah together of hearing the shofar. It's referenced in the Bible over 70 different times for a variety of different reasons, from announcements on Mount Sinai to marching around Jericho and taking the walls down. So the shofar plays prominently in our heritage. There are lots of things that we can do about shofar. One thing in particular that we don't do is we don't blow it on Yom Kippur, and we also don't blow it on Shabbat. But I have heard that it was blown at inaugurations. I heard that when Biden was elected, there were people who were blowing shofar too. So a variety of different things, announcing trouble, celebrating, and commemorating major events. Shofars come in a variety of different forms. So really any kosher animal can be used for a shofar, but more typically you're going to see shofar that are ram's horns. So this is a ram's horn. They're typically about 6, 8, 10, 12 inches long. You can purchase them. They're $20 to $100, depending on where you go and where you get it. You'll also see, let me back up a little bit. So this is an antelope horn, a kudu, sometimes referred to as a Yemenite. shofar. They vary in length from a couple of feet to upwards of 4 feet. The one that I have is just a little over 40 inches. Now, what's kind of interesting is how does a horn get to become a shofar? Well, first, again, it has to be a kosher animal. So we start with that. And then the process is actually pretty straightforward. Once you have the horn, the first thing you need to do is let it age. So interestingly, horns have two different materials. So there's a soft bone on the inside of the horn, and then the outside is keratin. So same material as our fingers. And what you need to do is let the shofar dry. So over the course of about a year, that's about the time it takes for the soft bone to dry. Once it's dried, then you clean the shofar by heating it or boiling it. So you actually can put it into an oven, heat it up about 350 degrees. It kills whatever is still left alive, or boil it, dry it out, and then straighten it. So as you can see from this shofar, it's got a pretty straight end here at the end. And if I hold it back, I'm not sure if you can see in the middle, but there's a little hole. And the hole on this shofar is about 1/8 of an inch in diameter. So once the horn is cut and straightened to get the mouthpiece, then you can drill the hole. The sounds of the shofar vary based on the size of the hole, the material, the length of the horn. I'll hold up the Yemenite one. If you can see in here in the camera, you can see it has a much larger hole. This one's about a 1/4 of an inch. And then when it's done, you polish it. So you can see it's got a nice finished polish on it. Blowing the horn. So there are a couple of things. I think every Baal Tekiah has a different style of what they want to do, but there's one thing that's critically important. When you're going to blow a shofar, you have to blow it so that it's facing up. You never blow a shofar facing down. And that's really more to represent how the animal, which would have been this way, but it's more to represent the way that the animal was before it was turned into a shofar. There are three key notes that are part of the shofar blowing. The first one is tekiah. It's a one long blast. There are different interpretations of what it means, but generally it's understood that it means stability in life. The next note is shofarim. Those are 3 shorter blasts. They typically could represent signs of trouble. And then finally, the teruah. The teruah is 9 short staccato blasts, and that symbolizes accomplishment. So kind of reminds us that progress can be measured in many small steps. And then there's a big one at the end called the tekiah gedola. It's more just an extension of the first tekiah, kind of brings us back to the beginning again and a reset. So on Rosh Hashanah, we're going to typically, and in our synagogue, we're going to blow the shofar about 100 times. So during the Musaf service, we do it once during the Midah, once during the recitation, 30 notes each time, and then 10 times, 3 sets of 10 times during Malchiyot, Zichronot, and Shofarot. So at the end, we've done 100 blasts plus a tekiah gedola, and we're going to sound about 300 different notes across the time. So let's do a demonstration. So I'm going to blow what's the typical first set of notes. So it's tekiah, followed by shofarim, followed by teruah, followed by tekiah. And you'll hear the difference in tone from each one of the different shofars. So here's the ram's horn. You can hear how high pitched that is. So it's, again, smaller horn, smaller diameter hole. That's how you get the higher pitch. With the Yemenite, the antelope, so again, a little bit of bigger hole in here. Step back a little bit. So you can hear it's a little deeper sounding note. And that's, again, a function of how the shofar was made. So if you order a shofar, and these are a couple hundred to over $1,000 if you want one customized, then they drill the hole specifically for what you want. Mine was a gift from my parents a number of years ago, and that's when I first started blowing shofar. So I've been doing it for now, I guess, about 10 years. It's been a lot of fun.
Steve, we're losing your sound a little bit.
Sorry?
Did your volume go down?
So, not as loud as you can. Let me step back. Maybe that's part of the problem. So let me add this before I blow the last one. Some people will say, "Oh, blow it as long as you can." And I think it's interesting, and it's always a lot of fun. And people will tell you, "Oh, you held it for this long and for that long." I think everyone has a little bit of style. What I think to me makes more meaning is to start out softly with a tekiah gedola, and then gradually rise until the end and hold it, for a period of time. So that's what I'm going to do this morning. Hopefully, I'll step back far enough. Hopefully, that won't blow out the sound. Hopefully that came through on the Zoom call. And so that's a little bit about shofar, and look forward to seeing everybody during high holidays. Thanks, Erica.
All right, I think we all need to come off mute to give a big round of applause to Steve. Look, some of these things are much better when they're in person, but I have to say, this was amazing. We could hear the sound. The explanation was wonderful, and hopefully now we know a little bit more about the shofarim and have a little bit more of an appreciation even for what we are going to hear in the weeks to come. So I just want to share on the screen really quickly, because I wasn't able to get that pulled up when Wendy was talking. But I do want you guys to see on the right hand side of your screen, I want you to be able to see all the great events that Sisterhood is planning for the upcoming year. Wendy, if you want to unmute for a minute, if you want to, you're welcome to, just to say a word or two about some of those events coming up.
What I will say is, and you've heard this probably before, but Sisterhood, as with Brotherhood and as with the congregation in general, we really have such a diversity of programs that there really is something for everyone. And I want to say, if you don't like cooking, don't skip the cooking program. It doesn't matter if you don't like cooking. It's not about the cooking. If you don't like reading, don't skip the reading program or the book program, because there's always a different kind of twist on it. And there's still something about it that you would most likely enjoy. And even if it's just the connections that you make with the other women, if you don't like to cook, come be the photographer. It's okay. But come to anything that you're available for, because you'll be very surprised at how interesting and how uplifting our programs can be.
Thank you, Wendy. Thank you for letting me put you on the spot one more time as well. All right. We are now going to move on to Martha Margulies, who's going to share with us what we have upcoming for our adult education and cultural programs. And I know we have a couple people on here who lead some of these programs as well. So maybe after Martha's done, if Eric and maybe Paul Applefield want to take a second or two to share with us the programs that they've got coming up as well. So Martha, it's all yours.
Good morning. I'm here to tell you a bit about our engaging adult ed programs at Congregation Beth Shalom. Broadening our horizons through literature, CBS Reads is a co-ed book group, which does change the flavor a bit, which meets on Sunday mornings every other month from 10:30 to 12, I'm sorry, where our dynamic facilitator, Roxana Levin, and I lead lively discussions of books that range from the elegant story of the Japanese lover to the intriguing Last Summer at the Golden Hotel, which will be our book for the next meeting to be held on October 10th. We hope you'll consider joining us. The Art of Memoir is an exercise in capturing memories through storytelling. I lead it with my writing partner, Kathy Gay, on the third Thursday of each month at 7:30 to 9. And a congenial group of fledgling writers learn techniques and practice skills in a monthly 15-minute assignment, which they discuss in the following class. So it's not a really intensely heavy homework scenario, but people do a lot of thinking about it before they actually put their pen to paper. Lots of interesting things bubble up, and we laugh or cry together as we put pen to paper. Newbies are welcome, but the class is limited to 12 participants. So please register if it is something you know you'd like to join. Our cultural caravan programs have been on hiatus, but we're optimistic that we will resume enjoying the arts and entertainment together this December, when St. Pete will be welcoming the Museum of Arts and Crafts, a spectacular ode to the decorative fine arts, including Tiffany and Stickley. With over 40,000 square feet of exhibit space, it should be a fascinating experience, and CBS will be there some Sunday after December. In February, we plan to take our caravan to the movies, as the Tampa Bay Jewish Film Festival has some riveting films, as evidenced by many of our members who are on the screening committee. God willing, we'll meet in an actual movie theater locally, but if necessary, we will pivot to a virtual screening and discussion, hopefully no screaming. But that's not all, folks. We also hold informative classes led by Johanna, Naomi, and Jason, who share their knowledge on diverse Jewish topics. Rabbi Danny and Rabbi David lead terrific classes from spirituality to understanding specific holidays throughout the year. And congregants Eric Steckler and Paul Applefield inform us about myriad topics, from bagels to Baghdad. Many other opportunities for stimulating learning come up during the year as well, and we hope you'll take advantage of whatever floats your boat. Please do not hesitate to call the office for more information, or you may call me directly. My cell is 727-409-5557 with any questions. I'll stay online later to chat if you'd like to chat at the culmination of this program. Thank you, Erica.
Thank you so much, Martha. Eric, would you like to say a word or two about the programs that you offer throughout the year? If you want me to put you on the spot, but you have to unmute.
I guess. Yeah. Usually I like to try to present at least one talk per year. And this year, I'm planning to talk about the contribution of American and Indian Jews to the Israeli War of Independence, which turned out to be a very fascinating topic because it has military, political, financial dimensions, and including Jewish mobsters contributing to the effort. So I'm hoping people will come and listen to a very interesting topic.
Excellent. Thank you, Eric. And Paul, did you want to say a word or two about your upcoming program?
So I'm going to be presenting a two-part class during the month of December entitled Sepharad. And for those of you who are not particularly interested in history or history classes, this is a class for you, because we're going to be talking about aspects of Jewish life on the Iberian Peninsula that you are not familiar with. We won't be discussing the exile. We will not be discussing the Inquisition. We're going to be talking about twists and turns in Jewish life that are absolutely fascinating and extremely informative. So I hope you'll join us for those presentations.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Eric. Thank you, Martha, very, very much. And I am excited to now hear a few words from my friend Ronnie Eagle to share a little bit about the Chesed program.
Hi, thank you, Erica. I've been asked to tell you about the Chesed community at CBS. In a nutshell, it's about you, it's about us. Our CBS extended family includes you. We are here in happy times and sad. Having a baby, we try to prepare meals for the family. Alone at home and ill, we'll bring over chicken soup, a meal, or go shopping for you, or try to take you to a doctor's appointment. When we lose a member to death, we are there to supply a Shiva meal and more. Sometimes it's just holding a hand, talking, whatever, we're there. Outreach is our thing, so join us. One hand reaching out to another. P.S. We make phone calls too to check in on each other. We are Beth Shalom, and we are Chesed at Beth Shalom. We wish all of you a Shana Tova, a happy new year, and may we all be able to gather together soon in person. Again, thank you, Erica, and to everybody else. This is Beth Shalom at our best. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ronnie. And I think if you want to unmute and say amen, that we be together again in the very near future, feel free to unmute and together say amen. We agree. All right, Rabbi Danielle, would you mind sharing a few words about your upcoming Jewish spirituality workshop and Rosh Chodesh programs?
Thank you, Erica. Uh-oh. You have an echo? Okay. Can you hear me? All right. So shalom, everybody. I am in the sanctuary here at Congregation Beth Shalom. You see those tables set up in the back, all ready for us when we can eat again in person, which is something we love to do at CBS. I want to share with you two upcoming opportunities that are confirmed. So one of them is the Jewish Spirituality Workshop. We're going into our 15th year or so of this group. The participants change in constellation depending on who's interested. It's an open group. At one point, we'll have to close it just because there's a lot of sharing and confidentiality. But our book this year will be The Way into Jewish Mysticism, and there's a flyer about that you could easily find on our Week at a Glance or the website. We will be exploring modalities of spirituality. What does that mean? Jewish meditation, mystical terms. We do sitting meditation, we do some chanting, learning, exploring, and sharing. We've moved this group to Mondays at 12:30, and again, there is a set calendar of when those dates are. We are following a particular text, and if you have an interest in that class, if this is all new to you, please be in touch with me, and I'd be happy to walk you through more details of the class. The other new idea that I'm really excited to bring is a Rosh Chodesh group that looks a little different than it has in the past. This is not a book group. This is an in-person, hopefully, meeting opportunity where we will be exploring wellness, our best selves, health, and spirituality. And we'll have guest speakers at each event, and it will be Thursday evenings once a month around Rosh Chodesh, and it's more or less the first Thursday of each month, and that's beginning after the high holidays. So that is a new idea, a new version of the Rosh Chodesh group, and all women are welcome to that. The Monday group, we are opening that up to men. It is a lunch and learn time. I mean, it's hard to like meditate and eat your lunch at the same time, but we want to be inclusive in that time slot. The other, like spirituality, I say that because a lot of things we do are spiritual, but under this rubric, the other thing we would like to bring back, although it's not scheduled at this time, is our Shabbat Biyachad meditation or prayer in motion. And once we're cleared for in-person meetings of that nature, we'll bring those back again. For the Rosh Chodesh group and for the Monday group, I will be striving to offer that on Zoom as well. So it could be a hybrid program. If you're not comfortable to come in, then we'll find a way to be inclusive so we can have you join the group on Zoom. Thank you.
Thank you, Rabbi Danielle. And everybody, I have figured out who the echo is. It's me. So whenever one person is unmuted and I am also unmuted, we're getting an echo. So I'm going to try to mute myself as quickly as I can once somebody starts up their presentation. So next on deck is from one rabbi to another. We're heading over to Rabbi David Weitzman, and he's going to talk to us for a few minutes about our Siddur and our Machzor, and maybe I'll share on the screen once we're finished with that presentation, just a quick little promo of our high holiday service schedule so that you all can see what's coming up as well. All right, Rabbi David, you'll let me know when you want me to share the screen and which page you want me to show.
Okay, you can share the screen right away. And maybe we can go to 172 in Lev Shalem. Okay, so I wanted to take just a couple minutes to just look at the new Siddur that we're using. And it's the same format as the Machzor that we have been using for a few years. And and how to use it, what's beneficial about it, what's different. So you see that we have some transliterations here. This Siddur edition has more transliteration. They're appearing in red and sometimes in italics, which is helpful. And we also have expanded directions or directions for prayer itself. Like over here, you see the person who is honored with an aliyah recites the following blessing, and some things which sometimes we just forget when we're going up there. Like you're supposed to read this portion after the congregation does, and that sort of thing. So you see the text over here on the side, the translation, of course, on the other side with transliteration. And either side of the margin, you have, and this is the same with the Machzor also, two different types of commentary. And we have this also in our Eitz Chaim Chumash, the same, we have a line below the text separating the different kinds of explanations that we have for the text that appears on the page. So on this side, it's on my right side, probably yours too. You see at the top, it says the reading. So traditionally, there is something called the Dibur HaMatchil, which means the opening phrase, which is going to be explicated with the following comments. So when you look down here a little further, this first one isn't exactly that, but when you see here, Bachar Banu, who has chosen us, then there will be an explanation Rashi and the other commentators did that sort of thing as well. That's how we know. It alerts us what is going to be explained there in the note that follows. Let's go back up here to the reading. So this kind of explanation is textual, and it explains why we do things, or sometimes the historical relevance or import of it. And here in this comment, you'll see the whole explanation and the origin of the triennial cycle that we use, and also the way that it was originally divided into these 54 portions. We read these kinds of things when we study our tefillot. It's called iyun b'tefillah. We go in a little deeper into the tefillot, and it makes them more meaningful to us when we come to them. So here you see explanations on the we call that the pshat. It's the contextual meaning. And if you look on the left-hand side, you have something more on the line of drash, is explanation that comes from metaphor. In our Siddur and the Machzor also, our rabbis from the rabbinical assembly have chosen a variety of things like Hasidic teachings, like you see down here, a story about a young man who came to his Rebbe, the Ger Rebbe, and he wants to, trying to explain to him about how all of us are on a path of learning. We also have poetry that you'll see, not on this page, but there's poetry that's included on this left-hand side of the commentary. And it brings another layer of spirituality to the book. Sometimes you want to go off the text a little bit and find something else that this at the very top. Sometimes you'll see David Silvera come to the bima, and this is a Sephardic practice. He's from the Spanish Portuguese tradition, and so the next time he comes up there, we'll know what to say. He says Adonai imachem, and then we all answer him Yivarechecha Hashem, like that, Yivarech Hashem. And so we get those little tidbits as well. Erica, could you go to the other page, please? So this one is from the Machzor. You see that it's set up in the same way. I've just chosen this one because this is the beginning of the Kol Nidre service. And, usually a prayer leader will give an introduction. This is why we're doing things. This is why, so we always try to introduce like that. But our Machzor lends itself to this kind of explanation. Why do we take out the Torahs? Why do two people hold a Torah next to the leader? As it says over here, because it's a model, it's a symbol of a court that has three legal authorities to it, an Ava Beit Din and then two other elders. And it's to dramatize that this service is actually like a court, and it mirrors that of the heavenly court. So you'll also see here explanations or directions of what we're supposed to do. Everybody rise. So if you're following along in your Machzor, you'll know what to do. You don't need anybody standing up there with the hands up and the hands down and that sort of thing. You'll know you got the directions right over here. And once again, you'll see the same thing on this side, the contextual explanations of why we do things, and some commentary from the Talmud, why we do, and this melody. If you have a chance before Kol Nidre to open your Machzor and read that for a moment, where does this melody come from? And it actually comes from a certain melody that's used, a certain nusach that the Sephardic tradition from Babylonia, from Iraq, uses when they chant the very first Torah portion of the year. And that melody has lasted and been interwoven into Ashkenazi tradition as well. You'll see on this other side, it's like a poem, a prayer. And Zev Falk was one of my teachers in Israel when I spent the year there, and this is in Hebrew, was translated. It happens to be translated by the late Stanley Schachter, who was the rabbi at my family's synagogue in Cleveland, Ohio. So it's also like a nice Jewish geography kind of a thing to do. Other colleagues of mine have translated poems in here as well. And here is another modern poem on the theme of Kol Nidre over here by Meryl Feld. So you see that in order to bring out the meaning for us in our tefillot, we have this new format. I am continuously, like everybody else, learning all the time and making prayer more meaningful through study. B'iyun tefillah, we should all dig down a little bit deeper, and then the essence will come to the surface. Thank you, everybody.
Rabbi, I'm going to put on the screen as well our high holiday services. If you just want to speak for a moment about what is coming up in the next, 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks?
Okay, so, the high holidays, one of my Rabbi Fenster, he said, the wonderful thing about the Machzor is that all you have to do is follow it. And then you just go through the holidays and it's a spiritual experience. However, we have to know when to come to shul or when to tune in via live stream to take in the services and to be together as a community, whether in person or virtually, and to celebrate this important time in our calendar. So we begin with Erev Rosh Hashanah services at 7:30. Really the calendar is the same as it's been pretty much, with maybe a couple variations in the time, but of course we follow the times of the season, and beginning at 8:30 like we do all the time for Rosh Hashanah. The only thing that's a little bit different is on the first day of Rosh Hashanah in the evening, we're having a Tashlich program, and Mincha, we usually have Ma'ariv on that night, but because it occurs so late, we're having a little something different. Mincha service and Tashlich at the same time, beginning at 6:00 p.m. And the rest of them are following the matbeah of what we usually do. And the one that we're most concerned about right here is, when does this shofar sound at the end of Yom Kippur, so we can have that glass of orange juice that we have not even been thinking about the whole day. So we're looking forward to being with all of you for this high holiday season.
Thank you so much, Rabbi David. All right, well, you have gotten a lot of really great information. We've heard from a beekeeper. We've learned about the shofar. We've learned about our Siddur and Machzor. We've learned about all of the great programs that are coming up, our youth programs, our adult education, our spirituality programs. Our kids just had fun with Miss Sarah in a breakout room, but we're not done yet, because Blake and Rabbi Danielle have put together an opportunity for us to sing with them on mute, of course, so that we can hear them as best as we possibly can. Let me just, oh, there they are. Let me get a spotlight on Rabbi Danielle and Blake. If everybody can go ahead and mute if you are not already muted, and treat us. The floor is yours.
Okay, just full disclosure here, if the sound is an issue, please let us know. We've been having some sound issues, so can you hear me? Okay, well, I can't hear you, so
Give us a thumbs up if you can hear us.
We can hear you, Rabbi.
They can hear us.
Yeah, okay. All right, the first song is Hine Ma Tov U'Manayim. We are so happy to be together. We have 4 songs for you this morning, and so this first one is a variation of how good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. And it's really a Shehachianu moment. It's a wonderful beginning of the year, and we're so grateful. Hine Ma Tov.
הנה מה טוב ומנעים שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומנעים שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומנעים שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומנעים שבת אחים
How good it is,
how sweet it is,
how sweet it is
to be together on this day. How good it is,
how good it is,
how sweet it is,
how sweet it is
to be together on this day. Shalom Aleichem, Salam Aleikum. Shalom Aleichem, Salam Aleikum. Shalom Aleichem, Salam Aleikum. Shalom Aleichem, Salam Aleikum. How good it is, how sweet it is,
how sweet it is
to be together on this day. How good it is,
how good it is,
how sweet it is,
how sweet it is
to be together on this day. B'nei Matov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. B'nei Matov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad.
Before we go on to the next song, is the sound coming through?
Yes, it's working. I was messing it up before with my echo.
It's a CBS miracle. So here we are on the sanctuary Bima. This is the beautiful, inspiring CBS sanctuary with the Torahs behind us and the Ner Tamid, the eternal lights, and that is the symbol of who we are as the Jewish people, guided by Torah, guided by light, and guiding one another in righteousness and love, in chesed. This next song is about gratitude, Modim Anachnu Lach.
I will give thanks for the sunshine. I will give thanks for the rain, especially today, I guess. I will give thanks for the good times and pray they come again. Modim anachnu lach, Modim anachnu lach, Modim anachnu lach, Modim anachnu lach. I will give thanks for my life. I will give thanks for your love. I will give thanks for your goodness. מודים אנחנו לך, מודים אנחנו לך, מודים אנחנו לך, מודים אנחנו לך. Check it out. I will give thanks for CBS and all the volunteers who make it great. Thanks for coming to our open house. We have so much to celebrate. Everybody, modim אנחנו לך, modim אנחנו לך, modim אנחנו לך, modim אנחנו לך. Right here, right now. Right here. Woo. And we have one song that we'd like to share with you to get us in the spirit for the Yamim Noraim, for the upcoming high holidays, Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. We are in the month of Elul, a month of introspection, a month of return. And we are all eager to return to this sanctuary. And we're returning to our souls, the home that is our community, the home that is our best sense of our own selves in this world. Return again. Return again, return again, return to the land of your soul. Return again, return again, return to the land of your soul. Return to who you are, return to what you are, return to where you are, born and reborn again. Return to who you are, return to what you are, return to where you are, born and reborn again. Return again, return again, return to the land of your soul. Return again, return again, return to the land of your soul. And our concluding song, every prayer service that we have in our tradition ends with a prayer for peace. This is how it is in Judaism. We're always praying for peace. We live in peace. When we see each other, we say, Shalom, Shalom Aleichem, peace be upon you. And when we come out of our Amidah, we say, Oseh Shalom bimromav, may God who makes peace on high make peace for all of us, for all of Israel, for all of the world. And we say, Amen. Let us be the peacemakers. Let us be the healers in our community, in our world, for our earth. Let us see this year, this coming year, beginning with this moment, as the times that are known as peace. And let us say, Amen. This melody comes out of Eretz Yisrael. It's a newer melody from the modern state of Israel. Oh. Wait, let's start again. Ready? Okay. Oh, say shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael. Looking forward to seeing everyone really soon. Have a wonderful week. Have a wonderful rest of the day. Shalom, lehitraot.
All right, Rabbi Danielle and Blake can hear us. So everybody unmute and give them a round of applause. Fantastic. Okay, don't go away. We have one more quick little something from Wendy Lynette, and then I just want to bring it all back together and answer any questions that anybody might have. So hang tight for just another couple of minutes. Wendy, what do you want to share with us?
Hi, everybody. It's me again. That was really great. Thank you, Rabbi Danny and Blake. I kind of like the mute feature because I could actually just belt it out and no one can hear me. And, you know, that's good. Well, with my VP of membership hat on, I want to thank you all for attending this open house Zoom. I hope you found it to be informative and fun. We are excited about the coming year, and I hope you are too. Today is the perfect example of the positive attitude of CBS, switching from our open house that was going to be in person to a Zoom open house. Wasn't that quick and wasn't that painless, but we made it happen, and I'm pleased to have been surrounded by such positive and can-do people. Materials and handouts from today about the programs and the various committees that you heard about will be made available soon, and continue to check the CBS website for that, as well as, you know, the upcoming events and details on how to RSVP for those. If you're a prospective member, I see there are a couple on here and you need membership information, you can contact the CBS office for that. And if you have any other questions about what we've talked about here today, we're going to have breakout rooms coming up right now. So I will turn it back over to Erica for that, and have a great day, everybody.
Okay. So just real quick, I want to just give a big thank you to everybody who participated today, for everybody who presented today, for our co-hosts for letting people in and muting as necessary, for our children's program facilitator, to our rabbis, to our staff, to the entire open house committee, to Wi-Fi, thank God. Everything worked beautifully. So I'm just like full of joy. You can see the program, we got to the end. The smile on my face is so huge because we did it. We didn't just kind of do it. I think we knocked it out of the park. So thank you all so much again. If you have any questions for Brotherhood, for Sisterhood, for youth programming, for adult education, for the rabbis, for Chesed, for membership, feel free to hang on. If you want to go into a breakout room, you're welcome to, but if we want to just hang out in this space to answer any questions, we can do that as well. If you have no questions, please enjoy the rest of your day. And we look forward to seeing you all either in person or on Zoom in the very near future. So we'll let everyone head out who wants to head out. And if anybody wants to stay on for a few minutes to ask any questions, you're welcome to do so. And you can talk.
Great job, Erica.
Yes.
It all came together. It was
It
terrific.
looked great. It was a great presentation.
Esther's here with me.